Hey bakers, welcome back to My Bake Escape. We are 1 week away from Christmas and I've got the perfect gingerbread recipe for you. These are delicious, full of flavor, and perfect to share with loved ones. They are my gingerbread bars topped with a luscious cream cheese frosting. For the full recipe, visit mybakeescape.com. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Pinterest, and TikTok at mybakeescape. For this recipe, you will need a few ingredients, most of which you may already have on hand. As for the spices, you will need quite a few. I like to use fresh nutmeg, but if you don't have that on hand, you can use regular ground nutmeg. You'll also need cinnamon, cloves, and ginger. Another key ingredient for these bars is molasses. I got my jar of molasses from my local grocery store. You can get it at Target or any other grocery store in the baking aisle. And you'll also need some brown butter. I have a video on how to brown butter. I will link it in this video somewhere. But really quick, you want to melt the butter down into a pan and cook it until it starts to develop these little brown bits. Once you see a little bit more darker brown bits and you can smell that it's toasty and caramel, then it is ready to take it off the heat and place in a heat-safe bowl. So I start by combining my dry ingredients, and for the dry ingredients you'll need flour, salt, baking powder, and baking soda. You'll also need to add all of the spices. I use a microplane to grate that fresh nutmeg into the dry ingredients. If you don't have fresh nutmeg, you can use ground nutmeg. Once all of the spices have been added, I use a whisk to mix this all together. Next step is to combine the wet ingredients, starting with the sugars. I'm using light brown sugar and granulated white sugar. To the sugars, I add the brown butter. It has solidified slightly, but as I scoop it out, you can see all of those brown bits. That is what is going to add so much flavor to this recipe. You can use a stand mixer for this recipe. I am using my favorite tool of the year, which is my KitchenAid hand mixer, and I mix together the butter and the sugars until the butter is completely absorbed into the sugars and the mixture is light and fluffy. Once it's at that stage, I go ahead and mix in the eggs. Now that the eggs have been mixed in, take a look at this batter. You see all those brown specks? That is from the brown butter, and that is full of flavor. Next step is to add the molasses. This is going to add a lot of moisture and a depth of flavor that you really can't get from anything else, so you cannot skip the molasses in this recipe. That deep, dark color that molasses has will turn this recipe into that classic gingerbread color. And as you begin to mix it in, you will notice the difference in the color of your batter after adding the molasses. Next step is to add the vanilla extract, mix that in. Now that the wet ingredients have all been mixed together, it's time to incorporate the dry mixture. So I add all of the flour at one time. And with my mixer on the lowest setting, I begin to mix this together. You want to make sure you start out slow, because if you start at the high setting, flour will fly everywhere and make a mess. And you want to mix this just until the flour is absorbed into the wet ingredients. You do not want to overmix this batter. Once the batter has been mixed together, I use a large spatula to Scrape the sides of the bowl, making sure everything is well incorporated. And as you can see, the batter is nice and thick and it's ready to go into a baking dish. For this recipe, I used a 9 by 13 inch jelly roll pan and I lined it with parchment paper. The parchment paper will help release the bars from the pan later after they've baked and cooled completely. And it also helps avoid the bars from sticking to the pan. As you can see, I have a little bit of parchment left over on both ends, and that's fine. I just carefully fold that over. That is going to serve as the handles to help release the batter later on from the pan. And what I do is I spray the pan with nonstick cooking spray and then place the parchment on top. Fold over those edges and add a little bit more of that spray to the top of the parchment paper. And now the pan is ready for the batter. At this point, my oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and I can go ahead and spread the batter into the pan. I like to use an offset spatula to do this, and it is a little tricky because, as you can see, when I start to spread the batter around, that parchment paper moves around a little bit, but that's okay. I kind of adjust it as I need to and just take my time to spread this batter as evenly as possible into this pan. The reason why you want the batter to be spread evenly is because if you have some parts that are thinner than the other, then that part will bake quicker and possibly overbake and dry out. So you want to just make sure to take your time and spread this out as evenly as possible. I always like to kind of clean up the edges too, because as it bakes, those little bits on the edges might burn a little bit. So sometimes I'll just take a wet paper towel and clean up the sides a little before placing in the oven. This is going to bake for about 26 to 28 minutes. You'll notice partway through that the batter will puff up slightly, and to test to see if it's done, what I like to do is just gently tap it on the top, and if my fingerprint leaves an indentation, then it's not quite ready. So I baked it for another 4 minutes, and now you can see that it has set completely, the batter has sunk slightly, and it's ready to come out. Take the pan out of the oven and allow it to cool on a cooling rack for about 45 minutes to an hour. And the reason why you don't want to take it out of the pan to cool is because it will fall apart or crack. So make sure it cools completely in the pan before handling it. While the bars cool, it's time to work on that delicious cream cheese frosting. So for this, you will need a bar of cream cheese. You'll want to whisk the cream cheese until it is light and fluffy, and then you will also need some powdered sugar and vanilla extract. Once the cream cheese is whipped, then you can go ahead and incorporate the vanilla extract and the powdered sugar. I would suggest adding about half of the powdered sugar. Taste it, and if you think it needs a little bit more sweetness, go ahead and add a little bit at a time. At first, I measured out 2 cups, but I ended up only using 1 3/4 cup of powdered sugar. If it's too sweet, it really takes away from the tanginess of the cream cheese, and I like to have that balance. So I suggest that you taste your frosting as you're making it and make sure it is to your liking. So at this stage, the bars have completely cooled. They are cool to the touch. So now I can add the cream cheese frosting. But before I topped the bars with the cream cheese, I went ahead and removed them from the pan. And as you can see, they come out pretty easily and you can handle them at this point. I turned them over, they didn't fall apart. So I placed them on a piece of parchment paper. So using an offset spatula, I carefully spread this delicious cream cheese frosting all over the top of the bars. It looks so delicious. So take your time making sure that this is spread evenly over the bars all the way to the edges. You want every single bite to have that delicious, creamy, sweet, tangy cream cheese frosting. So while I am spreading this cream cheese out, I wanted to take some time to wish you and your family a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I also know that this time of year can be challenging for many people, and if you are going through a really hard time right now, I want you to know that you're not alone. There are people out there that are happy to talk to you, and I will link some resources in the description of this video below. I want you to know how much I appreciate you, and thank you for watching my videos. And if you've subscribed to my channel, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. So once the cream cheese frosting has been spread all over the bars, this is where you get to have fun. I decided to use some sprinkles that I had left over from another item that I baked. One of my favorite sprinkle shops is Sprinkle Pop Shop. I will link their website in the description of this video, but you can use any type of sprinkles that you like, and you can add as many as you like. I really love the pop of color that this adds to the bars. I think the pops of gold with the green and red sprinkles makes these bars just so festive. Once you've decorated the bars, go ahead and pop them in the refrigerator for about an hour before cutting. This will help the cream cheese set and make less of a mess. And when I cut them, I have a damp paper cloth next to me to wipe the knife clean after each cut. This will just help make sure that the bars have those nice clean cuts and cream cheese isn't just piling on my knife as I cut each section. And this is how they look. Now at this stage you can place them on a platter, you can box them up and give them away as gifts, or you can just place in an airtight container and keep them in your fridge for 5 days and enjoy them as you like. I actually do recommend that you make these a day ahead and place in an airtight container and let them sit in the refrigerator. They develop so much more moisture and flavor after sitting at least 1 day in the refrigerator, but they're also delicious the day of. They turned out really good. I love the color of the gingerbread. The flavors are just perfect. All the spices come together and that cream cheese frosting just balances everything out. They are delicious. I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said earlier, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Looking forward to many more recipes in the future. Thank you so much for watching and have a sweet day.
That's tasty. Oops.